and welcome to episode 33 of GameSpot After Dark, the work from home edition. This is a bit strange. All of us have returned home for, the foreseeable future, and we are going to be doing this podcast out of our houses and over Discord. Well, maybe not Discord. We might change it up, but as of right now, we're doing it over Discord. But joining me this week is Callie Plaguey.
Hello.
Jean-Luc Seipke.
Hello.
Lucy James.
Hello.
And Greg Miller, who you can kind of hear in the background of Lucy's setup.
Yeah, Greg's recording PS I Love You right now. So sometimes you might hear him yell something about the PS5.
This is pretty meta. There's layers on this episode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's part and parcel of everyone kind of getting used to working from home, I guess, and changing schedules and et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's going through it.
Yeah, I imagine there will be a lot of technical hiccups throughout this episode, so bear with us. I literally set up a camera minutes before, and it is not a camera meant for webcamming, but, it'll have to do.
You are
That's
weirdly, in a weird amount of high definition.
I know, you really are.
Compared to the rest of us.
It's a Canon C100 that I have, and I tried to set up my, digital camera, but it just wasn't working, and I was like, well...
Wait, you have your,
set up the big guns.
Fancy camera on your desk right now?
Yes, and it's taking up 75% of my desk.
You also have a really nice depth of field going on.
Yeah, thank you. It's because I'm so close to it too.
Wow, I don't even put on makeup for this. That's how low def mine is.
I don't even know if anyone will see I don't think because we're not recording the actual screens. No one's actually gonna see our faces. We're just doing this so we can communicate better.
Imagine that we all look beautiful.
We all look great.
Yeah. We always
wear
do.
my weed beanie. And not get
John,
you sound
you're
very
really quiet.
I'm really quiet?
Yeah.
I just bumped you up to
no.
200% on mine.
Oh, geez.
You sound you sound like you're in a small
underwater.
box.
My mic is not even. Hold on. I was wondering why no one was responding to me the whole time I've been talking.
It wasn't a collected, let's all ignore John.
Hello.
I'm leaving all this in.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some adjustment period, because I'm afraid I'm looking at Audacity and it looks like I've been peaking a little bit, so I'm going to try to...
Yeah, I've moved my
Hello.
thing.
Hey. No? That's still really quiet.
Still pretty quiet.
John Luke in a box.
You're just so far away since you're working from your home.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh
my God.
Hey.
Hey.
What happened?
I have no idea. I love that, though.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it in. I think we're just gonna keep rolling. I'm not ready to start over.
I was talking about my weed beanie and how I can wear it and not get in trouble because no one can see it.
But yeah, so bear with us as we get used to this setup. We'll probably be doing it for the next couple weeks at least. So I don't know if you guys have any suggestions, tips, if there's any issues that you guys have noticed, please let us know.
Apparently I need to fix my microphone. Let me know if it happens again. Jesus.
Yeah,
okay, we'll do. The other thing I do want to mention is that you might see ads start to pop up in GameSpot After Dark. This is something that another team has been working on for a while. CBS is trying to kind of get all the podcasts under the same hosting system, and part of that means automated ads are going into a lot of these episodes. We're not entirely sure how it works or when they're going to start rolling out. However, there's a good chance that I think starting next month was what they had mentioned before. You might see ads, you might not. They're going to test them out for a little bit. So bear with us on that.
I just want us to get to a stage where we're doing ads for Casper mattresses, man. I want
I know.
Blue
That's
Apron.
the dream.
Quip,
MeUndies.
MeUndies. Need to
Yeah.
get all those infamous Audible.
Extreme restraints.
Yeah.
Audible. What's the other one? Squarespace.
Oh yeah, Squarespace is a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, get into some ad readings. Those are always fun.
I haven't done one of those for... I mean, could we do, if they do on My Brother and Me, where they just go real wacky with it? That's what I would want to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we should do. I don't think well, I don't know. We could be as funny as them, but they're very funny.
Yeah, they're sort of professional comedians, but...
I think we're funny. I think Jean-Luc might be suffering.
Yeah, Jean-Luc's having more issues.
The McElroy brothers, They're not experts in advice giving, but they are experts in being funny. So, are you okay, dude?
His mic's gone.
Oh no.
Everything was working perfectly.
Oh, we hear you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hi.
Cool. Well,
I've
why
literally
don't...
spent all day testing this setup, and of course now it just
Classic.
doesn't want to work.
That's okay. This is like the like in terms of like high priority productions, I'd say this is a little bit lower. It's okay if we mess up a little bit and things don't go as planned, but
I think
we're
that's
doing it
why
now.
people listen to us, is the tangents.
Yeah,
and
I'd say so.
You know.
I hope so.
Except for that one iTunes review that was like, there's too many tangents. And I was like, well, I can't help you there.
Sounds like a you problem.
Anyway, should we just get into what we've been playing? I figure we have some, I don't know, a lot to talk about considering a lot of us have been shut in. But yeah, that is one exciting thing, right? There are 3 new games that we're going to be talking about this week. I won't say what they are. I might as well just let everyone introduce them one by one. Who wants to go first?
I volunteer Lucy.
Oh, I was going to say Callie. Okay, because I haven't really put as many hours into this one as I would have liked. But I've been playing some Persona 5 Royal, which I'm only in Kamoshida's Palace, so I'm still super, super early, that, like a couple hours into the game. So it's weird because I started playing it again last year because I was really excited about it. There were all these trailers and I was like, I could really go for some Persona right now. So I replayed the opening hour. So I have it more fresh in my mind, I guess, and you can see the differences between, how they're adding Kasumi into the plot, how they're changing up the gameplay, etc. It's more fresh in my mind. So, I mean, immediately they've changed that opening when you're in the casino. They changed the route in which Joker takes to escape from the casino because he has this new Batman grapple gun type thing to fling you around palaces now.
Is that the same grapple gun that he's got in Smash Bros?
Yes, I think so. But you can kind of zip around, and they've reworked some of the palace layouts to accommodate. So it's not just like you're retreading old ground. You actually feel, they have made substantial changes. And in terms of gameplay, I was talking to Michael about it, who is doing the review of Persona 5 Royal. And he must be 60 odd hours in now. It's a huge game.
As of his writing on Monday night, yeah. So more now, I'm sure.
It's a huge game. And so like the big story changes they made. So Persona 5 came out 2016?
17?
16
same year as Breath of the Wild, right?
Yes. And I actually reviewed it, gave it a 9 out of 10. You can see it on GameSpot. And so for me, it's actually quite nice to revisit the game without the pressure of having to review it on me. So I don't envy Michael because it's such a huge game, and also there are tons of other things coming out that, and like when I was doing it, I think I got the code a month before launch because it had been out in Japan for so long. And yeah, it's a huge game. The changes they've made are quite subtle in the very beginning. It's still very much... Persona 5 holds your hand for about 10 hours, I would say, when you're actually playing it. But they've, put Kasumi in some cutscenes. You're introduced to her in a very mysterious capacity in that opening cutscene. But the thing that they've really worked on is gameplay-wise. So SP is a really precious commodity. In Persona, it's like the mana... and it's how you can get your personas to do cool attacks, and it often runs out, which is annoying because I'm the type of person who I try to max the social sim side of Persona and try and see as many confidants and build those ranks, and then I try and do a palace in 1 or 2 days. But sometimes if you're really heavy on using your personas, you can't do that because you're out of SP, and if, for example, you don't have enough money or enough SP replenishment items, it's really difficult. But the way that they've been reworking the battle mechanics is that if you level up sort of your baton pass, you get an SP increase. There are new items that you can find in palaces to do that. A whole new confidant route with Maruki is basically just improving SP and giving Joker more SP. So this is super granular, but if you're a Persona fan, you'll like it. All the cool changes that they're making to the game. New music. They've put a new battle song in. Michael says it's better than Last Surprise. I don't know.
Michael was like, this shit's fire.
Michael said, I don't really have many... Sorry. I don't know what Greg just heard. Something's hilarious.
Joker.
So what I want to do, we have to do this, is like once this episode goes up, we have to try and time it with PS I Love You to see if we cross over at all. Yeah, no, it's like Michael said, I don't have many hot takes, but the new Persona Battle song is better than Last Surprise. I was like, okay, I'll see, like check with me in 30 hours and see where we're at. But overall,
it's a spicy one.
Yeah.
Have you met the student counselor yet, or does that come until later? Because that sounds kind of interesting.
You meet him fairly early on. Early on, sorry. And he's the confident root that does the SP. And
that is Maruki.
Yeah, that's Maruki.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
So
the
two new confident roots are Maruki and Kasumi. But also what's his face? What's his chops? Goro Akechi. What's his face? Is like a separate confidant route now. In the main game, you would level up with him just through story. Now you have to actively go seek him out, and you can hang out with him. And I never cared for Akechi.
Does that change those scenes? Do those original scenes with him still happen?
I don't know. All the scenes, because I'm still so early on, the scenes that I've seen him in have been from the main game. It's like when he's with Sae from like at Nijima at the beginning. I haven't got to that point yet, but Greg's getting excited about save files, I think, in the background. But no, I mean, honestly, for me, it's nice to just sort of dip back into Persona, and I guess we've got a lot more free time now. It's weird not having a I know everyone is always like, oh, Persona 5 on Switch when? But honestly, not having a commute anymore is quite nice because I can just sit and chuck some hours into it. So I'm excited to take it at pace, but at the same time, like the Resident Evil demo's out, Animal Crossing's out, I've got Doom loaded and I want to play that, and I wonder if I'll fall off it, but I hope the changes to the story are going to be big enough. But I'm a little concerned that they come so late, because they have a whole new semester. So it's like you play through Persona 5 again with the changed battle mechanics, but then you get the new dungeon and all that stuff. But anyway, Persona 5, great game.
Some would say superb.
Oh, superb. GameSpot.
That's what a 9 out of 10 is. I do want to shout out Michael's early review impressions video that he did. I think it's really charming. It's a cute video. He talks a lot about the stuff in the earlier stages of the game that's different, and then there's a lot with Kasumi that you kind of have to wait for, that he's still waiting to check out before he does the full review and gives it a score and everything like that.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed that video.
I was in with him and Evan when they were filming it, and he was just having such a good time.
Yeah, it's cute.
Just chatting about it. He's so cute. Speaking of upcoming Persona content, though, we shot an episode of audio logs for Persona 5 Royal with Sojima-san, who is the character designer, and we went to Japan. We got to go to Atlas, and he's worked on pretty much every Persona game, and it's kind of crazy, and he talks about Kasumi, so look out for that. That's my pimping of content over too.
It's very good.
Thank you.
Jean-Luc, you are a big Persona fan as well. Do you plan on playing Royal, or are you just going to leave it at P5?
No, I'm totally planning. Can you hear me, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was funny. I was actually talking with my brother about it, about how originally we were like, yeah, we want to play it, but, don't know if I have enough time. And then we're both like, well, got a lot of free time now. So, no, I'm actually really excited to jump back in. I did like an impressions, not impressions, like it was like an impressions video with Michael back at a preview event a month ago. And just like cutting that, I was like, oh, man, I love Persona 5 so much. So I'm really excited to dive back into that one.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it again as much as I love that game.
That's fair. That's valid.
100 and whatever hours, but I don't know. It sounds like, I'll have a lot of free time, so maybe I'll be like, you know what? I feel like dipping back into Persona 5. Still, though, to finish that game again, that'd be a big ask.
I will probably do what I did last time and just sit there, a giant bottle of Diet Coke, like a huge pack of just crap food, and just try and plow through. Because, I mean, I love that game, but there is a bit towards the end where it is just relentless, and I think that's the word I used to describe it in my review. It's just like, where are you? I'm not going to spoil the place that you are, but you just go, it's like boss, 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 and no respite at all. I hope they've changed that. I really hope they've changed that.
Before they shut down the office, I was talking to Evan and Michael, and Evan had mentioned he's our intern, and he mentioned that he didn't know that there was Baton Pass, or that you could get Baton Pass, and I was like, how did you get through the final couple fights? Because that is the only way I got through them, was by swapping out my party, because it was rough.
There's that one boss fight in particular.
He's like, I don't know.
That's based around weakness swapping, so you have to baton swap to do it correctly. So props to him. Jesus Christ.
Baton Pass, also a move in Pokemon.
Oh,
that's true. Anyway, that's Persona 5 Royal, or Royale. No, Royal.
No,
I got
Royal.
it right, huh?
Yeah.
It's Royal. A Royale is the thing with cheese. Sorry.
All right, well, looking forward to future updates on your Persona 5 Royal progress, Lucy.
It's my ongoing.
Jean-Luc, you've been playing a new game that people are excited for as well.
Yeah, I've been playing Doom Eternal. Are you guys looking forward to Doom? Are you guys planning on?
Yeah, I've got it. I'm gonna wait until this weekend to delve in. I think it's too much for a school night. I'm scared.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a very intense game. I mean, pretty much it's the best way I could describe it is just everything about the first game just feels ratcheted up. I think it's a game that feels incredibly confident in what it is. You can tell the developers if you've ever watched Danny's no clip doc on the making of Doom 2016, you can kind of tell. Yeah, it's small YouTube guy. There's a sense in that doc that they spent a really long time trying to figure out what that game was, and a lot of it, a lot of the things that people love about it, its satirical tone, kind of came together really last minute. This game feels way more confident, just from the get-go. It feels like the developers just knew exactly what they wanted the game to be and how they wanted to do it. Everything from just the shooting to the enemy design to the balance of combat just feels so on point. It's one of those things where I love Doom 2016, and I don't think I could ever go back and play it now because of just how good this is.
It sounded like you fell off a cliff very slowly.
What? Oh my god, really? Oh.
I'm sorry. Right. Could you see? We all just leaned in a little bit, even though we're all wearing headphones.
And the problem is, I'm pretty sure that showed up on the recording too, so I'm sure the audience.
No.
This is great.
Well, Jake, that's
be an interesting edit.
Yeah. We could still hear you.
That's
we
good.
could still hear you. It wasn't like before.
Oh boy. Doom's good, I guess.
Doom's good.
Doom's good. I like it a whole lot. I think I was telling it to you guys yesterday when we were testing it out, but I really love the environmental design is a lot better. The first Doom 2016 had the three same environments. It was Mars Outdoors, Mars Inside Base, and then Hell. And those eventually got kind of tiring. This, every level feels different. You have, and it's they kind of just go nuts with it, where you have demons invading Earth, but then you have okay, we're gonna go to this weird alternate dimension planet of ancient fantasy, almost crusaders who fought demons, and it really gets into that weird almost Lovecraftian kind of aesthetic that reminds me a lot of the original Quake. It feels they really dug down and just said let's see how weird and out there we can get with the story. I can tell my VO is dropping again. I'm looking at the levels. Oh my god. I'm just gonna keep going.
Out of curiosity, have you finished the game yet?
I did. It took me about 12 hours to beat it.
That's what I was curious about, because when I demoed it. I played for around 4 hours or so, and they're like, yeah, you're not even like a quarter of the way through the game. And I was like, I'm worried about I was worried about the length because I think I've said it before. I really like Doom 2016, but I could not just sit there and play that game. I could only do like a level a day. I think part of that was because of like what you were saying, how the environments were kind of repetitive. But yeah, I was curious about Doom Eternal in terms of like, I guess my stamina of playing it, because before I just like, I could only do one at a time as much as I enjoyed it.
Yeah, totally. I remember them saying I could see my levels. Yep, come on, get back up. Up. Nope. Hey, okay. Yes, Jake.
What you need to do, Jean-Luc, is you need to control your voice to match when it starts to drop.
I need to start screaming when the levels drop. Okay, so yes. I also was at a preview event where they said a similar thing to me, Jake, and I was also worried that the length was going to be too much, but it's totally not. Like it feels about the same length as that previous one. Like it was 12 hours, and by the time it ended, it felt like it was ending at the right time. Cool.
Well, I'm definitely excited to check it out.
Yeah, me too.
And the review in progress is up already, right, Callie?
Sure is. So as of this episode going up, the multiplayer will be live. So we didn't have access to the multiplayer pre-release. We'll have access to it when the game launches on Friday, aka today, if you're listening to this. And so Phil Hornshot will be checking out the multiplayer over the weekend, and you should see the final review, but you can read basically full impressions of the single player on GameSpot right now.
And if you can hear those sirens, they found me and they're going to come take me away. Can you hear them? They are so loud. I'm so sorry.
I barely hear it.
Yeah, it can't be as bad as my old apartment.
Come on. Let me check. I want to check Citizen. I want to see what's popping off.
Jake would remember, because I used to live right next to a hospital, and my Windows had no installation. So anytime anyone would like be playing a game with me, you would hear everything, and it was just...
Yeah.
Dude, we'd be playing Siege, and I'd hear sirens, and this was when I like first started playing Siege, so I'd be like, wait, is that in the game?
What operator ability is that?
Is it like Lion? Should I freeze?
Jean-Luc, do you plan on playing Doom's multiplayer at all?
Yeah, I'm really curious to check it out, especially because Michael and you seemed like pretty positive on it from that preview event. We're gonna play it for Community Fridays, which I guess if you're watching this at the time this is airing, then we're gonna be doing that on 2 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. But I'm curious to check it out. I don't know if I'm gonna play it much more than like the weekend. I don't know if it has enough legs for that, but I'm at least curious to try it out.
Yeah, from what I played, it seemed like a fun like side activity. I don't know if it's the kind of multiplayer you'd sink hundreds of hours into, because it didn't seem like there was much progression there, at least in terms of like upgrading your class or your Doomslayer, because right when you start, you have access to pretty much all of your Doomslayer weapons and all of the available demons. And it was interesting because it was like a tense back and forth between the demons and the Doomslayer. But man, you really have to be on top of your shit. You really have to know how to play Doom, I feel like, if you're going to do that. Because me, as someone who'd only played a couple hours and only familiarized myself with a handful of weapons, jumping into that multiplayer was incredibly difficult. And maybe also it was because we were playing with people who had been testing it and already played it before, and they knew what they were doing. But I can't imagine trying to balance that mode, because it seems like it would be really difficult. But when we talked to them, they were like, yeah, we think we've got it in a place that at least at launch should be balanced. Obviously, things could change. But yeah, I'm curious to see if that has legs to it, because it was pretty neat. And I don't know, they said it sounded like they were going to continue to support it. So it could be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, I don't know if it's for me. I think I'm just going to do the Doom Eternal single player and call it at that.
God, I was watching Dave Jewett do some like nightmare mode single player gameplay with no HUD, and I was like, Jesus Christ. It looks... I mean, I don't think we shout out Dave enough for how good he is at first person shooters.
Yeah.
His reflexes are unreal. and like watch it be on YouTube like by now, all the stuff that Dave has done, and it's crazy. Like I was getting anxiety just from watching it. Shout out to Dave.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave.
One
Shout
thing
out to Dave.
I also wanted to mention about the game that's kind of weird is it takes its story super seriously this time. Like the thing, it's kind of weird. I go back and forth on it. Where like Doom 2016, like a lot of the thing people remember about it is that it was like it wasn't taking itself too seriously. Like, you know, the Doomslayer just like breaks everything and you know doesn't listen to what everyone's saying. This one, it's like there is definitely some satirical stuff. There's this really good like hologram of the UAC that like has a lot of like that kind of like jokey like tech jargon, but about hell. But otherwise, it's like this very self-serious story that has like a lot of lore, and you got to look at the codex to understand what's happening. I kind of love it in that it's like it's so self-serious that it really does remind me of those like old 90s shooters. But I think if you're somebody who was used to just like how tongue-in-cheek the first one was, you're kind of going to be thrown off by it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if their thinking was like, oh, Doom 2016, like we could have like another big franchise here, so we have to figure out how we can build out this world without, you know, maybe that just led to them making a more serious
Maybe, yeah.
game, which is interesting. Anyway, moving on. Callie, what have you been up to this week? Or the past couple weeks, I guess.
For a while, I've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. My review in progress is live. Yeah, it's been interesting because I've been playing I'm on day 20 now, and there's so much that I feel like I haven't seen, and I feel like I've been doing a ton. Like on day like 16, I hit 80 hours, 16 or 17. So I haven't checked in a couple days, but that's a lot of hours to still have Nook's Cranny and to, you know, like there's building upgrades I haven't gotten yet. So I'm kind of concerned about that. I'm worried that the upgrade is time gated. From what I can tell from people I've talked to, it could take a really long time.
Because you're not time skipping, are you?
I'm not. I don't like doing that in Animal Crossing. It makes me feel like the cops are gonna come get me. But I've talked to people who have time skipped, and it seems. I mean, I don't know.
To be fair, I think time skipping is that's like cheating in Animal Crossing. I feel like you're really cheating yourself if you're not playing it day by day, because there's something really special just about like watching your town grow every day and seeing how things change. And I feel like if you're just skipping ahead, like I understand some people probably had to do it in order to, I don't know, for their reviews or for previews and guides and whatnot. But I would, if you plan on getting this game, I wouldn't recommend skipping ahead, but you know, you play it however you like.
Yeah, I would not. But generally I am really enjoying it. It's something that I really like about it is the way the new systems incorporate with the existing Animal Crossing core like loop of daily tasks and chores. So like crafting was one I was really, really nervous about. I've said that before. But I think it works so well because like I thought it would be a ton of resource gathering and that you wouldn't be able to get the kind of cool, unique, like go to the store, see what's there every day. But you still have that because there's some stuff you can't craft. There's like bespoke furniture basically, and then there's like your set of things you can craft, and that expands. That library expands over time, and then the actual gathering of materials for crafting just is part of my daily set of things that I've done for years in Animal Crossing games. Like you would hit rocks every day, right? Because one of the rocks has money in it every day. Now I hit all the rocks. Partially because I'm trying to find the money one, but also because there's resources in those rocks. So it's like, this is a chore that I'm used to doing that has become more lucrative. So that task becomes more meaningful because you get more out of it. Or like shaking trees. I would shake trees in previous games because you can catch wasps, you can sell wasps for a lot of money. There's furniture in some trees, there's bells in some trees. Now there's also tree branches. which you can use to craft like tools is a big one that you would craft with that. And tools are breakable, so it's important to have a good supply of tree branches. So that's just it's just part of something I would already be doing. So it doesn't feel like this huge extra thing I have to occupy my time with. That said, it does give you more to do if it's like some, because I'm stuck at home, I'm like, well, I might as well chop wood. I might as well chop every tree and get as much stock up on wood, because maybe tomorrow I won't have time to get more wood. Like doing stuff like that. So I like that. It just feels natural. It feels like a natural extension of what Animal Crossing already is about. And I got the clown villager, the sheep that looks like a clown. I got him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He lives in my town now.
Mira moved out, and then the clown villager moved in?
Yeah, so I had a villager who was like, I'm going to move out. And I was kind of like, I want to see what happens. She wasn't, like, she was fine. So I let her move out. And then I went to, you can go to, like, deserted islands using Nook Miles, which is a separate currency. And, like, and the first one I went to, Pietro was there. And I was like, do you want to live with me? Please, please.
I love how those conversations go down too. Whenever you meet a villager on island, you're just basically like, you should live with me. And they're like, that's a great idea. And then they like pack up all their things and they're there the next day. Yeah.
And also his catchphrase is honk honk.
Have you seen Rolled yet?
I haven't.
I've seen Rolled.
Do you have
Okay,
Rolled?
so Ben Janka, his roommate has a collection of the cards. So once you get the camping site in Animal Crossing New Horizons, you can basically scan amiibo cards, and then they'll come and visit if they're in the game, we think. And Ben's roommate had the Rolled card. So I was like, I'm getting Rolled in here right now.
Yes.
So I brought Rolled in, talked to him a little bit. He had me make something for him, so I made something for him. And I was like, hey, do you want to move to my town? And he was like, ask me next time. And I was like, well, we're about to lock down the office, so there won't be a next time. So it's either now or never. So I don't have Rolled in my town. But I did meet him, and he is...
perfect.
He's great.
His catchphrase is buddy.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm going to download it, and... because it locks 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. our time, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I would start that night, just because...
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that you won't get until the next day. So if you wait a day, you won't get like the museum prepped and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I've got a lot on.
Yeah.
I've changed my work hours,
That's
man.
true.
By 5 p.m. I'm done every day. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with all this time?
No commute.
Play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I also do want to mention the Nook Miles system, because I think it's really smart. It's basically like a separate currency and you have like a phone, a mobile phone in the smartphone, that's the word, in game called the Nook phone, and it has an app, and the app tracks your like Nook Miles. You get like stamps for different things, but it's like stuff you would be doing anyway. So like fishing, you get stamps for like getting a certain amount of fish. So it's just like an extra benefit to the things you're already doing, and you get to spend them on cool abilities like the tool wheel and new hairstyles. And I'm really worried about Shampoodle. I don't know if Harriet's gonna have a job, because you can change your hairstyle at any time.
Oh shit!
I'm holding out hope that there's like a set of like more extravagant and wild hairstyles and colors that only she can do. Because right now, I have all of the hairstyles and colors that you can get through the Nook Miles program, but I still feel like it's kind of lacking. Like even you, Callie, you were mentioning that there were some hairstyles that have been in Animal Crossing games previous but aren't in this one.
Yeah, like the cowlick hairstyle where it's like the 2 pigtails and then the girl, she has like 1 pigtail on the top of her head. Like I haven't seen that. And it's like, that's not like a super cute hairstyle, but that's like one of the starting hairstyles. That said, I do have some dope wigs and hats. I got the crown. That's $1 million bells.
Ooh. You bought it?
I bought it.
Dang.
I am on the final house upgrade. It is
Ballin'.
2,498,000 bells. And it is the last one. And if I finish my house up payments before Nook's Cranny upgrades, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing that I don't think you've mentioned, or did you mention it, how Nook's Cranny for either of us has not upgraded yet, and we're almost like what? We're almost 30 days in. We've paid off a majority of our debt. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. Although I can see, so like we know LaBelle is in the game. I haven't seen LaBelle yet, but I've seen some hints about LaBelle. So I know there's more coming. I also just want to brag. We started in February, at the tail end of February, so we caught some fish you won't be able to get until November.
Damn.
So that was really exciting. So maybe do time travel.
If you want those fish in particular.
You want those fish?
Or you could visit Ed or Jess's island.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Southern Hemisphere. Or Jake, you have a burner.
I have a burner account that's in the Southern Hemisphere too, so you can just visit that one.
Tell everybody what you named it.
Burnerton. Because I couldn't fit Burnertown because it was one character too many. So I cut the W and just called it Burnerton.
Yeah. My island is named Midori, which is what my New Leaf town was named.
Aww.
Because I didn't think of Johto soon enough. So
my boyfriend's named his town no, he hasn't named it Butt Island. He joked about Butt Island, but he's named his Florida 2.
Oh, I think I saw him tweet that. Yeah. Do you want to know what I named my island?
You're not
Penn.
No.
Rivia.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that in a tips video, and I remember on frame I circled it. I was like, Jacob. I don't know what I'm gonna name mine.
Ooh, when a villager asks you, like, the villagers will still come up to you and be like, oh, I came up with this nickname for you. It's so good. And you can tell them I don't like that and then give them a new one. You should give them Geralt.
Yeah.
So they call you Geralt.
Oh, that's a good idea.
My villagers are all calling me Guacamole. All of them. One of them was like, can I call you Guacamole? And I didn't have the heart to tell him no. And now they all call me Guacamole.
Oh, man, it got around town so fast.
I want them all to call me Big Papa. I'm going to do that.
I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Exactly. I just remembered Greg named his town, his island, Smallville, which is very on brand.
That's very on brand.
But it's like annoying because some people have like really good names that mean a lot, or like cool fictional places, and I'm like, don't call it Penn, don't call it Penn, don't call it Penn. So it's a joke that only really works written down, but
No!
So sorry.
I was literally about to be like, oh, is that a Lost thing? Is that a Lost reference?
No.
Nope,
No.
you just meant Penis Land.
It would be funny, but I think I'd probably get banned from all Nintendo online services.
Because someone would go to Isabel and be like, Lucy's island's name is
Oh my God.
inappropriate.
I don't want to live.
Then you have Isabel on your back.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, that I wanted to shout out about Animal Crossing are the villagers just in general, like the things they do and the activities they take part in are really adorable. Like you'll go and see them stretching in the town square.
They do yoga.
They'll do yoga, or like they'll fall asleep under a tree or read a book under a tree, or you can see them walking through the museum and you'll ask them about it and they're like, whoa, did you catch this? This is so cool. And it's just like, I don't know. It's really neat seeing how much more, I don't know, I guess animated and personable these animals are than before. Because like you mentioned in your review, Callie, they've always been like funny and clever, but now I feel like they're funny and clever and they have these like cute personalities that shine through just in their stuff they do every day. Like I have one character named Genji, and he's super into working out. So every morning I'll see him like with like some dumbbells just doing curls and like a workout outfit, and he'll be like, just getting my daily routine in here. And I'm like, I love this.
Wait, he's called Genji?
It's called Genji, and he calls me Otaku.
Like Overwatch?
He's one of the like Japanese,
Amazing.
specifically Japanese. They have like different outfits. Like all of the villagers have rain outfits. Some of them have little rain hats. They have pajamas. They have workout clothes. They will like it's the
Lucy's gonna cry.
The detail is amazing.
The little workout clothes.
I almost started crying because I said this in my review, I walked into the town square and one of my villagers was singing a song to himself. And I was like, Jake can attest to this. I was just like, I can't believe it. And I watched him for like a half an hour sing this little song. And then another villager came up and sat down and watched him too.
Oh my god.
Best thing I've ever seen. I've been taking so many screenshots.
Yeah.
I also today I went to Hamfrey's house. Hamfrey is one of the 3 hamsters who lives in my town. And he's like a cranky villager is his personality. And he goes
Same.
He goes like, "Hey kid, have you used a computer before?" "What am I saying? Of course you have. But today was my first time. My friend showed me his computer and he asked me about the hard drive and I was like, I walked. I didn't drive." I was like,
oh my god.
What is going on?
Shout out to the localization team.
The localization team is incredible. Also, there's 2 visitors who will come, Flick and CJ, who are new, and they'll buy like bugs and fish. Flick is bugs, CJ's fish. And they both are incredible. Flick is like a goth bug enthusiast. And he one of my favorite things he says.
You met one of those before, Lucy?
I think I've dated one.
He says something like, it would be pure hubris to assume we know everything there is to know about insects.
Woof. I mean,
and he has piercing.
So right.
Shit. Yeah.
It's
and then
right.
CJ, the fish guy, is a streamer.
Ooh.
He does live streams of fishing, and he's like, I gotta do it for my fans. And like every time he comes to your town, he gives you a challenge, like a fishing challenge. And today he's in my town and he was like, you gotta do this, like you gotta catch these big fish and 3 in a row without messing up. Sorry, chat request.
That's so good.
Like the localization's
That's very clever.
incredible.
Oh, that's really good. I'm so excited to play.
Yeah. One of my villagers the other day was practicing safe distances and whatnot because he was sick. He was like, "Don't come any closer to me." And I was like, "Oh no, this is too real."
Come on, man. This is meant to be the escape.
Yeah.
I know. I have a face mask that I got in the game, and I bought extra. I literally stockpiled medicine in the game, but I do that in every Animal Crossing game because if one of your villagers is sick and the store happens to be closed for remodeling and you can't help them, you got to have medicine on hand.
Well, now you can craft it
and
too.
You can craft it. Yeah.
So, anyway, anything else you want to add about Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I think, like I said, my review is still in progress. My biggest concern right now is like the pace of upgrades. It definitely feels pretty slow. But I think there is a lot to occupy your time. In between that, I'm really having fun. I've basically just started like decorating my island and laying paths and changing the way rivers are, like terraforming it. So I feel like I have so much more to do, and I'm excited because Isabel gives you a star rating, and I want to get that 5-star rating.
Well, I've also been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, but a game that I played through last week, which I did want to talk about a little bit, is Black Mesa, which is the mod of Half-Life 1, the community-made remake of Half-Life 1, and I was super impressed. I have never played Half-Life before. I've dabbled into a couple of times. I couldn't get into it on the Orange Box. I had the Orange Box. I mostly played Portal on it and a little bit of Team Fortress, but I could not get into Half-Life for some reason, and I figured it was just because I hadn't played 1. So I decided to finally play 1 through Black Mesa, and I was super impressed. I loved it all the way up until the last level, and I know they've made changes. I think it's called Interloper. I think they've made changes to it from the original to make it better, but man, was it still rough. It was
so they've
bad.
changed. I haven't beaten Black Mesa. I'm actually playing it right now. I know that so they've changed all of Zen, which is the alien world at the end. Is
okay.
Is just the ending bad, or is like all of Zen not?
So
great?
I actually really enjoyed Zen itself. Like I thought that section was fun. It was
okay,
gorgeous.
Cool.
It wasn't too overwhelming. Like it was just that last chapter called Interloper, which I felt like it lasted 4 hours.
Sure.
And it was just running through an alien box factory or something. And there was, I don't know, like, it was frustratingly long. I was having so much trouble getting through it. Other than that, I thought it was fantastic, though.
Did they still keep the weird baby final boss?
Yep.
Baby alien.
That's still there, yeah. Which was a fun final boss fight. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is one of those games that just completely botched the final boss, huh?
Oh,
but
yeah.
I played it, and I was like, well, I mean, it's like I was expecting like levels of BioShock's one's last boss, but I thought it was much better than that. It was a fun fight, to say the least. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm bummed I never played Half-Life before this.
I highly recommend it. It's like, I think it's like you don't need to play Half-Life 1 outside of like the curiosity of it all. If you're somebody who like just wants to know what that original version's like if you just want to, I would tell people nowadays, just like go play Black Mesa. It's Half-Life 1 but better in almost every way, I would say. Like, yeah, even if they do botch that ending, like the ending of Half-Life 1 was also not great. Like Zen kind of sucked in the original, so at least it's better in this one.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed Zen. I think the thing that confused me the most, which I later found out, was because there's DLC, or there's an expansion for Half-Life 1 that I didn't play, because I started Half-Life 2, and one of the characters was like, "It's me, Barney. Do you remember me from Black Mesa?" And I was like, "Dog, I just played Black Mesa, and I don't know who the hell you are." And then I was talking to Alessandro Barbosa, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's because there's an expansion that he was in the expansion for Half-Life 1," and I was like, "Well, I'm not playing that, so I guess
you don't need to
read a paragraph on what that was to fill me in."
That's the thing, is like Half-Life 1's story is like kind of minimal. Like Black Mesa actually added more story from 2 into the original. Like Dr. Kleiner and Eli Vance, who are major characters in 2 and like all the other games, aren't even in Half-Life 1. Like they show up in Black Mesa, they like retroactively put them in, but like, yeah, I don't think you ever really need to play that original game for story outside of just like a plot synopsis you could look up.
Yeah, I might do that, because I did start Half-Life 2, and so far, maybe it was because the remake is newer, but so far, I'm not super into Half-Life 2 yet. Maybe I got to play more. I think I'm only on like chapter 5 or 6, so I still have a ways to go.
Where are you at?
I just finished, what is it, Highway 51? What's the one with all the bugs on the beach and you're in the...
Oh, yeah, Highway... I forget the name of it.
Highway something.
Yeah.
I just finished that.
Did you not like...
I did like that level.
Did you not like Ravenholm? That's kind of the big level that everyone loves. Okay.
I really liked Ravenholm. I see why everyone really liked that level, and like how it just kind of flips to horror. And you can definitely see, like, I don't know, I saw a lot of like Left 4 Dead inspiration from that specific section too, which I thought was pretty cool, even though Turtle Rock is, the original Left 4 Dead was not Valve, but
yeah, I was curious because like it was one of those things that like at the time like blew your mind, because you just like weren't expecting the game to like do a complete 180 and become like a horror game for like, an hour. But at this point, like everyone knows about that level, so I was curious if it still held up as someone who hadn't played it.
I don't know if it landed for me as much as it did at the time, just because, the game looks kind of dated now. It still looks great, to be honest, but it looks dated, and I did know that their Ravenholm was where it becomes kind of a horror game, because, people have been talking about it for so long, and I had known about it. But I still really enjoyed that level for the most part. But I'm not super into Half-Life 2 quite yet, at least not as much as I was into Black Mesa. So I'm going to keep playing, because I want to try to burn through all of them before Half-Life Alyx.
I'm going to say, if you're not into it at this point, I don't know if you're going to fully get into it. Like, if you're not into it by Ravenholm, it's like, I mean, the rest of that game's still great in my opinion, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to necessarily change. I don't think your mind's going to get changed.
Yeah. Well, can't stop now.
No, I'm curious what you think of the episodes, because they integrate Alyx more into the game. Like she's like a companion character who follows you the whole time, and like especially episode 1 introduces some like really interesting like puzzles and mechanics that utilize her as like a companion character. So like I think it does a decent job of mixing things up, and there's like a car you get into, and it like they move outside of the city, so like the environments are a lot different.
Okay.
Yeah, like I like those episodes quite a bit, but yeah, I'm super curious what you think of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep playing it. I think part of the reason why I like Black Mesa more is that I really like that Area 51 style setting where it's like, oh, you're going through this factory and there's all this weird classified stuff that you're not supposed to know about, but because there's a disaster, you have to go through here anyway. And there's one point where a scientist is like, Gordon, you know more than like any one man should ever know. And I was like, yeah, this feels really cool. And then like the opening to Half-Life 1, I thought, or Half-Life 2 was fantastic with City 17. But like,
yeah,
when I started to distance myself away from there, I was kind of losing interest. But like I said, I'm going to keep playing. Anyway, shall we move on?
Sure.
Yeah, go on then. We've been playing a lot of games. Damn.
Well, Animal Crossing and Half-Life is about it.
I didn't get to talk about, well, I don't really need to talk about it. All I'll say is I've been playing Last of Us again, and it was a bad idea. You shouldn't do that.
I had
right
the same
now.
thing, except with Plague Inc. I re-downloaded Plague Inc. like a moron.
So like, Last of Us, like now that I've like gotten into like the 20 years later, and it's like everyone's clickers, it's like, okay, this is obviously its own thing, and I don't really it like now it feels fine, but that opening 15 minutes, like you find like a news report talking about like mysterious infection that's like hospitals overcrowded and quarantining cities, and I'm just sitting there going like, oh god, this is a mistake.
No thanks.
Yeah, no thanks.
That intro's brilliant.
It's really good. It's still that game. It's fun replaying it because the acting and the dialogue holds up incredibly well. It's still like some of the sharpest writing and acting I think in games. The gameplay sometimes doesn't hold up. I've had a lot of weird like bugs with like character walk cycles, like they just keep walking back and forth, or like some guy not seeing me in stealth, or a guy seeing me when he shouldn't have. Like mechanically, I don't think it's held up as well. And I'm very, very excited to like play 2 because I want to see like how they improved that. Because I feel like very confident that like the story and the writing is probably going to be good. So I feel like mechanically, I want to know like how they've improved it, because I do think that is not aged great.
Yeah, I mean, what I had played of 2 at the event, God, a couple months ago, more than that, was that it still retained that, like, you know how Last of Us, it was very difficult to kill people early on. Like they made your aiming really, really shaky, and you had to make sure to get headshots if you want to take people down, and enemies were very persistent. It still has that, but it doesn't feel as clunky or cumbersome.
Okay, cool.
At least from what I played of Last of Us 2. I think part of it is just playing as Ellie over Joel, because I think even Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann shared a tweet today of how much more agile Ellie is compared to Joel, and I remember that sticking with me, especially from what I played, just because you could climb up things, jump on things. I felt much more limber and quick, which was exciting. I'm so excited for that game.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Yeah, same. Oh, really quickly, I want to say I watched Bling Ring last night out of desperation. That movie was boring as shit.
Bling Ring?
That movie was
even is
so
that?
boring.
What was Emma Watson's accent in it?
Bad.
Was
It
she
was
going for
bad.
American? Yeah.
She was going for Valley Girl, and like I don't think Emma Watson can play stupid. Like she can't act like.
I don't think she can act. Period.
That too.
Yeah.
It was not a good accent. She couldn't do Valley Girl, and at one point she goes, "I want to rob,"
Oh god.
and I was like, "That." It was honestly like, my mom was just like, "Let's Google some Netflix shit to watch," and that was on a list, so we watched it and we were like, that was phenomenally boring. I can't believe we watched that movie. So.
Well, we watched Dawn of the Dead the other day, which is a great movie. I didn't realize James Gunn wrote it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, we watched that the other day. Quickly. So let me explain the mental connection I've just made in my mind. Zack Snyder did Dawn of the Dead. Everyone always says about Justice League, hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Mm-hmm. Did you see the shit that went down about cats?
Yes! I was about to bring that up.
Okay, so a viral tweet. Okay, brace yourself.
Okay.
A viral tweet went round. Oh wait. Let me read it out and find it. Hold.
You're
please.
just going to like the text thread with me into more.
Okay. So, a VFX producer, a friend of a friend, was hired in November to finish some of the 400 effects shot in Cats movie. His entire job was to remove CGI buttholes that had been inserted a few months before, which means that somewhere out there exists a butthole version of Cats.
Release the butthole cut.
Release the butthole cut. But also someone replies to that tweet with, but that also means that a conversation was had about both putting the buttholes in and then removing them.
Well, this episode's going to be called Release the Butthole
Release
Cut.
the butthole cut. Oh my god, hang on. Wait, some of these replies. I worked for Disney many years ago and we made the grave mistake of printing thousands of marketing pieces where Mickey had a butt crack. They made us destroy all of it because Mickey doesn't have a butt.
That's like Pokemon has all these like wild rules about like different things you're allowed to and not allowed to say about Pokemon. Like, of course Mickey like canonically doesn't have an ass.
Anyway, release the butthole cut. Sorry. I just really had to explain my little jump in thought processes there. PlayStation 5.
Yeah, should we talk about the PlayStation 5 details? That was a exciting stream. I watched all of it. All I can tell you is that the hard drive, the solid state drive is going to be really fast, and you can't buy other solid state drives that fast for another year or two.
Can we talk about the production value of that video?
Yeah, I feel like that's the best thing to talk about with this.
I saw a lot of people being like, man, that was awkward. And I was like, I love that they attempted to like make it seem like it was this like conference you had. So they had like fake. Were they
like
real?
No, they were real. They were real because they moved. Because I spent a long time looking to make sure that they moved.
But I'm pretty sure it was like
animation.
Like an animation. Like they recorded like 10 minutes of them and then just like overlaid it.
What, like Speed? Like the bit in Speed?
Like,
or they just play it on loop?
Maybe?
Dude,
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
The other day and I don't remember the context.
Dude, Speed is a great movie.
When did that happen in Speed? I haven't seen
it's
Speed
the bit
forever.
where they're on the bus and they fake the security cam footage, so they get everyone to sit really still, and then they loop the footage to make the terrorists believe that, you know, they're not veering off course. But then it gets ruined because the woman picks up her bag or something, and the guy's watching. He's like, "We've been absolutely done in here."
Yeah, I think that's what they did, because I was looking at it and I'm like, that has to be like just a loop of people they did. Anyway, I appreciate that they went all in on that.
I mean, honestly, like, I saw so many tweets being like, oh, this is so boring, blah, blah. I'm like, this was their GDC presentation. This was always going to be about tech specs. I don't understand what you want from them. But also, I want to give, like, I host a lot of things as a job. Like, we all host things. Jesus Christ, Mark Cerny, like, not only is he spoke the entire, almost an hour. He didn't stumble. He was so eloquent, and he was explaining concepts that, I don't know how he did it. He's some kind of wizard, but it was like, he was explaining concepts that were both high level and for lay people at the exact same time. And it was incredible. And also he was basically just one giant ASMR machine. Super intimate.
Yeah, that was...
It was so impressive. I mean, it's not for, like, I know I wasn't the target audience for that talk, but I was still like, damn.
It really takes a lot of talent to condense complicated topics. Not condense, but like get them down to something that's understandable for anybody.
Yeah. God, he's so intelligent. Like, I am genuinely afraid of how intelligent he is. I want, like, God. The things
it's one of those things where anytime, like, him or, like, what's his name? John Carmack, like, talk, I'm always like, what are you doing making video games? Like, why are you working on this and not something, like, super serious that could actually help the world?
I guess video games are helping the world.
Video games can help.
Yikes.
I want to know. I want to know what they do in their downtime.
I'm sorry. I'm really just still thinking about the things he must know.
Like, God, just the way he was talking about it, like it was nothing. And I'm sat there trying to keep everything straight in my head. I was like, Jesus.
Well, okay. Now I'm thinking about what Mark Cerny does in his downtime.
Yeah, I want to. He plays Knack.
Yeah. Yeah. Knack just plays
Knack.
Knack. I was thinking.
Baby.
We interviewed him for that, didn't we, Callie?
We did. He was he was really nice.
Was really nice.
Yeah.
Like,
and I felt bad that I felt so bad that Knack is a meme. Like, I really got emotional about it after, because he was really, really sweet to us.
He was so sweet. And we weren't... Oh, what was the other thing that was happening that we weren't allowed to ask him about? It was like, this is only about... Oh, I think it was just like PS4 at large. And I was like, no, please keep your... Like, PR was like, please keep your questions focused on Knack. And we were like...
Yeah, we were like, oh.
But he's the architect of the PlayStation 4. There is so much more we want to talk to him about. But, like, he was so nice. And you can tell that that's his passion project. And it's... But what does he do in his downtime?
I think he, like, reads books and drinks tea.
Yeah.
Do you think he, like, has, like, a special interest hobby? Like, maybe he reads a lot about, like, zoology or something.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Because, like, I have a lot of fun reading up on, like, what animals could be cryptids, you know? I don't know if anybody else has done this, but sometimes I'm like, sea monsters, what could they be? And then I read on Google for a while.
Maybe he's really into, like
that.
Real life murder.
Maybe, if he's a murderino, I would love that.
Damn, we got to get him on the podcast.
Maybe he was too sweet to be a murderino.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's too sweet.
Not that we're like horrible, awful people, but he was so sweet.
Yeah. Damn it. I'll email Sony. I'll ask.
Hey, we really want to interview Mark Cerny about his hobbies.
Just what he does.
You know what? I'm with Jake. I think he's like really into tea to the point where like people who are really into tea, they only drink loose leaf tea, right? And like he knows that like green tea is just a minute, but black tea you want to steep for like 4 or 5 minutes, and herbal tea you want to at least put in for 7 minutes. And then like he has like he has different tea.
Are you a secret tea person?
His tea routine.
I have a friend who was really into tea, and we would make tea, and we had cast iron teapots. My old roommate, so we had these cast iron teapots, and we would get these nice like tea steepers and like a tea scoop that scoops you the exact right amount for 1 cup of tea.
I used to have a kettle that had different buttons for specific types of tea, like oolong, Darjeeling, Earl Grey, because different teas need to be brewed to a different temperature.
They do. I think Mark Cerny's really into tea.
Yeah.
I just revealed things about myself. I'm just projected onto Mark Cerny.
Jean-Luc, what do you think Mark Cerny does in his free time?
Bug collecting. I think he collects bugs.
Okay, or like maybe he collects flowers. It like presses flowers, you know? Like gets
into like a
flowers
little book.
In a book, yeah, I can see that.
Wait, are you? I think what we're all saying is that Mark Cerny's an Animal Crossing villager in real life. Like he just has all these wholesome hobbies.
He knits, you know.
When do you think we'll hear more about PS5?
Man, that's a good question. Part of me is like wondering if it's gonna get pushed from holiday.
Well, Microsoft doubled down. Like there was the they accidentally, one of their sites said coming Thanksgiving, and then Microsoft went, nope, still holiday 2020. I also feel like someone at Microsoft was just like sat with their finger over the button there. Which is, I mean, to be fair, that's what PlayStation did to them with PS4 and Xbox One, right? Like they would just wait for one of them to go first and the other one would be waiting. Oh, was it the like the presentation that they did for the price of the PS4 and it looked like it had just been knocked up like that day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like they're just kind of in that game right now. But I feel like maybe they'll wait until Last of Us is out of the way and then they'll probably do a big event online.
I could see that. It's interesting too because Mark Cerny kind of mentioned that backwards compatibility won't really. I mean, it'll kind of be a thing with the PS5. Like some PlayStation 4 games will be playable on your PS5, but it won't be to the extent of the Series X, which will play all your Xbox One games and some 360 games and some Xbox games. Which I think is interesting, right? I think everyone kind of anticipated that this next generation everything would be backwards compatible, and even people were theorizing that you could be able to play like PS1 games, PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, but it's clearly at least not now. At least not yet. It's not the case.
It just speaks to how difficult it actually is to do that, because they were saying that one of the reasons they were saying is that the PS5 was so fast that PS4 games wouldn't be able to run correctly because of how fast it is. So they have to go in and manually tweak. It's the same thing with like the whole reason Xbox 360's backwards compatibility is just like they would dole them out like, you know, a week at a time or whatever, is because they have to manually go in and like tweak them on their end to like get them to function properly. So it's like, Because like I want to say like the PS3 had like PS2 backwards compatibility. That was like a straight backwards compatibility.
But that was only in some consoles. They got rid of that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had one of those, and there would be games that had problems. Like I tried playing Persona 4 on my PS3, and the like lower bar where it tells you where you are had no text, so I never knew which dungeon floor I was on. Like you'd have weird graphical hiccups like that. So I think like the idea of just like here's just a straight all-in-one like backwards compatibility solution is like not really feasible in terms of like there's going to be issues. So I think they're making the right call by like doing it more like case by case, and they're going to really like make sure each game works properly. But I am a little disappointed. I was really hoping. I didn't think it was going to happen, but there was a part of me that was like, I wish there was like PS3 backwards compatibility, because there's a lot of like really good gems on that system that you can't play unless you use like PlayStation Now, which I don't really care for.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do with PlayStation Now too, because right now it kind of seems like it's. Well, actually, I don't know. It's hard to say what Stadia is up to, but it seems like that is the streaming service that's kind of lagging behind. I could be wrong though. I have not used PlayStation Now much, apart from playing a bit of Red Dead Redemption.
I think they'll roll it into your PS Plus subscription.
I would hope so. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
well, because like
that's what
with Microsoft's games with gold, or Microsoft's gold or whatever, or Games Pass, when you like having that is so nice. Having the, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, you're right though. Like their Game Pass Ultimate comes with gold, and it's supposed to also come with xCloud, which is their equivalent of now.
xCloud, that's the word I was looking for.
I think Lucy's right. Like if they want to compete with Microsoft, they would also need to make this like really appealing all-in-one like bundle package that gives you everything.
Anyway, should we move on to questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into it though, if you've got questions, please feel free to email us at afterdarkpodcast@gamespot.com. We were a bit light on questions this week, which is understandable. I feel like a lot of people have a lot on their mind. But if you find the time to send us a question, or if, I don't know, we'll read it no matter what, and there's a good chance it'll be on the episode. So yeah, feel free to send us a question. But Callie, do you want to take the first one?
Sure. Hello, After Dark crew. With the end of The Outsider and the start of Westworld, I have a question to throw your way. HBO has hired you to create a new show based on an adaptation. What video game, movie, or book would you adapt? My choices would be Mass Effect, because I feel it would make a better show than movie. Also, I would like to see a BioShock show that takes place before and during everything going wrong at Rapture. Thank you, Josh from Ottawa. I do say, so first of all, thank you, Josh, for writing in. I do want to say I don't want to talk about BioShock because I've gone this long without getting spoiled.
I mean, this isn't a spoiler for Bioshock, but like speaking of Westworld, Westworld season 3, because I'm doing the recaps on GS Universe. The plot of Westworld season 3 so far seems to be the plot of the Minerva's Den DLC from Bioshock 2, in that there is a computer that controls human beings. And I was watching it and I was like, I've also just played Bioshock 2 and Minerva's Den like last weekend. And I was like, what? This is not a coincidence. Like the Nolans, Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, they must be gamers. Like I know it's a sci-fi trope, but I feel like they must secretly have enjoyed Bioshock 2.
Well, I feel like Westworld in general had a lot of references to games and whatnot, just from the couple episodes I watched.
There's some real capital G gamers over there.
Oh, at HBO, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Although, can we just take a brief, not moment of silence, because that's so awkward on podcasts, but just to acknowledge that The Outsider just went so downhill. Rip.
Dude, I haven't finished it. I stopped at episode 6.
I don't know if it's worth finishing it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And
there's one line in the last episode that actually made me kind of emotional, but I think it's just because I didn't have friends growing up and it just hit a very specific part of me. But other than that, I mean, classic Stephen King.
The bed.
Yeah. I don't know. I have such a hard time. I think I would love to see a Screen to the Moon adaptation. I say that because I think a lot of games work primarily as games. Like the game stories that I like could only be games that I like best. So like Undertale, for example, I think it works specifically because of the game mechanics and how they interact with the narrative. I think Gone Home is impactful as a story because of how the mechanics interact with the narrative. To the Moon, I cried so much playing that game, but I don't think it needed the game mechanics to be that impactful. I think it was just an impactful piece of writing on its own. And so that's why I think it would make a really good film adaptation.
I think a Red Dead Redemption HBO show in the vein of Deadwood. Sorry.
I was going to say that, directed by James Mangold, or show run by James Mangold.
I feel like it would miss a little bit of that, like that feeling of the futility, because it's not you doing it, but would I watch it? 100% yes.
Yeah. Red Dead for sure, or
Last of Us. That'd be a good one to turn into an HBO show.
That one, that's another one. I don't know how that works without you in the driver's seat. I'm very interested to see how they translate that, because I think so much of what makes that, because there's an argument to be made that The Last of Us is just the road, the video game, and that, I think there's a layer that you get from the interactivity. I'm very interested to see how it translates.
I think for me, it's that it's just a straight adaptation. Like, it's going to be really hard imagining those characters and those scenes redone, because I feel like I'm just going to be comparing it. Because like I was saying, playing it, I'm still like engaged in those cutscenes so much. They feel so well acted that I'm going to be watching that same scene on a TV show, and I'm just going to be comparing it, and I'm going to be like, oh, well, the Joel on TV didn't deliver it as well as Troy Baker did. And I feel like that's going to be a really big hurdle to get over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to Callie's point, too, I feel like part of the reason why Last of Us struck such a chord was because you were the one pulling the trigger. And I feel like the second... they could still do it, and I'm sure it'll be... I hope it's good, but I feel like it's going to be a very different story if you're not the one who's doing these things. Because I think a lot of the emotional payoff in that game is when you reflect after you finish the game and you're like, oh, that was me who did all those terrible things to protect someone. It's not watching characters do it necessarily. I mean, it still is, right? Like, there's still cutscenes where you're not in control of, but like I think of that last scene, sorry, Last of Us spoilers here, but when you go into the, when they're about to operate on Ellie and you kick open the door and there's the doctors there, and you don't have to shoot those doctors, but everyone does because they're feeling so worried and defensive for Ellie, so they go in and shoot those doctors. But you don't have to shoot them, and they'll just back off. They'll just like drop their scalpels and be like, "You take her. We don't want to do anything." But so many people just run in there because they're so invested and they pull the trigger. And I feel like moments like that are what made that game so special, and I don't know how you're going to replicate that on a show. But that's not to say that you can't tackle different themes within that world with those characters to make it resonate.
I still can't believe Craig Mazin is doing that. And Borderlands.
Oh, yeah, huh?
He's writing the Borderlands movie.
No, that's a movie I don't need.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that at all.
Unless you make it like Tales of the Borderlands, which was
sure. Funny. Make it a Saturday morning cartoon.
That would be a great addition to the Tales series of RPGs. Tales of Symphonia, Tales of... Sorry. I just wanted to give us a shout out for avoiding the phrase lunonarrative dissonance for so long.
I wasn't going to say it. I will say, though, I like Josh's suggestion of a Mass Effect show. I would watch the hell out of a Mass Effect show. I think you can make the same arguments about like, but part of Mass Effect's thing is that you get to make the decisions. But
the world
I would still watch it because that world is dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you have like an entire lived-in, you know, you have a universe to occupy. Whereas, you know, when you're talking about like a one-off story, I mean, I think especially the shorter this game, the less world building there is generally. So it's like, you know, Gone Home takes place in one building, so it's like not gonna
give me my Garrus Vakarian CSEC cop procedural show.
Yes.
I would watch the shit out of that.
That'd be so good.
Every week.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, me too.
So good.
One of my favorite moments in games is when you have to recruit Archangel and you don't know who Archangel is.
So badass.
And you cross the bridge and it takes off his helmet and it's Garrus and you're just like, he's back.
And he's got like one leg up on the couch and he's like changing,
and like
reloading
the
his
first
gun.
thing you can say is like, you look like shit or something like that.
Yeah.
That's man, I should replay those games.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
I always thought Mass Effect, especially like 2, just again, I agree with you guys. I don't think I'd want maybe to directly adapt the games, but like I remember when I played 2, it is almost formatted like a TV show. Like
it's like
each
episode arcs.
are
in each
one.
one.
Like each mission where you like recruit a person, do their loyalty mission. Like I'm just like, that is so like you could be like, oh, the first half of the season is like recruiting everyone, and then the mission where I forget the planet Horizon where where the collectors kidnap everyone.
Yeah.
That's like your mid-season break, and then you have like the second half, and then the big season finale would be the collector homeworld. Like I always thought, as a high schooler, I just was like, man, that'd be so fucking cool.
Write a script, send it to HBO.
Yeah.
Scripts,
to HBO from Jean-Luc.
Scripts at hbo.com. For your consideration.
I don't think I ever like wrote anything, but I guarantee you I like thought about like how it would be structured as a kid. Like this is what I would do, and this is who I'd like cast as a person for Mass Effect. Otherwise, I don't really know. Maybe Yakuza would be kind of weird and interesting. I don't know though, because something about it as a game, about like walking around and doing all those like weird side quests is like what makes it work for me. I don't know if it would work as a TV show, but I think the world of Yakuza is like such an interesting blend of like serious, you know, macho badass Yakuza plus like goofy nonsense. You could make something, I think, out of that world in a TV show.
I mean, in a similar vein, Sleeping Dogs.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Sleeping Dogs had a really good story at the heart of it.
It is. It's just a really good like Hong Kong action film. God, that game's good.
With a really
History
good cast,
Channel
too.
Assassin's Creed series.
You know who could probably direct a good Yakuza show or movie? Bong Joon-ho.
Maybe.
Because he is very good at swinging between like serious funny.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that could work.
No, totally. Yes.
No one's gonna bite on my History Channel idea.
No, I think that's a great idea.
Say it again. Sorry, I was thinking about Bong Joon-ho.
I said History Channel Assassin's Creed series because they would totally
aliens.
Exactly, they would totally like make it alien.
So it's just like a guy talking about like how like George Washington secretly had like a piece of the whatever they were. I don't even remember what they were called anymore.
Eden.
Pieces of Eden. God,
I made a video about it once where I had to try and describe all of the first civilization stuff.
I was really into that stuff during like the Assassin's Creed 2 era. It was so dumb, but I loved it. It was so funny.
But then it got to Revelations. I was like, okay, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lucy, do you want to do the next question?
Yeah, this is from Robert J. Hello, After Dark crew. Kudos to everyone that's still working hard during this time. What have you all been doing to stay sane while being stuck inside during this pandemic? Thanks for reading. I hope you all stay safe and healthy. And same to you. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I've sort of changed my routine. I change my hours, so I'm 9 to 5, and then at 5 I just shut off. I have in my calendar, like, this is the time that you exercise, and then I cook more. I live near a park, so I can go for a walk to get out. I don't know, I'm trying not to be... I don't know, like, I do try and get changed every day. I don't work from bed. I'm actually reading books that I wanted to because I have so much more free time. I'm watching Castlevania. I'm doing Westworld. Like, there's still plenty of stuff. It's just the hardest balance for me is, like, we all use our phones so much, and sometimes that's a good thing to get informed, but at the same time, it can just be relentlessly crushing to your anxiety because... there's so much misinformation too, so I'm using Twitter a whole lot less. I'm using social media in general a whole lot less, and like I have push notifications from the BBC because I feel like that's the stuff I need to know about, rather than I don't need to read every article about what's going on, because it's just regurgitating a lot of the same stuff. But if it's a push notification, that means something's changed and I should know about it. But yeah, that's kind of it. I'm trying to talk to people more, like reach out. It's kind of it. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a big thing for me is just getting up, exercising, and like not staying in bed, making sure to get dressed, make my bed, like try not to get into the mindset of like, oh, I'm just gonna work in my pajamas and then like eat breakfast at like 11. I'm trying to stay on top of that sort of thing. I think this weekend I'll try to go for a hike or something like that, because I can't imagine there'll be a lot of people around. Yeah,
this weekend is the one that's going to be weird for me. Like, I already, because I have so many meetings anyway, is that I've booked out 12:30 till 1:30 as my lunch hour, and I've had it in my calendar like that for a couple months now, and it's been great. And actually that's been helpful as like keeping normality. They're doing some cool things at work. I don't know if you guys saw your email, but while we were recording, like, they're setting up little just informal Zoom hangouts that we can chat to people in the office twice a day to make sure that people are still like talking, because it's super important. It was
Tamoor's idea, actually.
Yeah, the UK boys have been doing it all week. It's really cool, like, because I'm still on the UK calendar. I can see them twice a day. Like, they have little they've been playing Smash together at lunchtimes because they play Smash at lunch, and like they have tea breaks, and so they've put that in the calendar, and they'll make a cup of tea and just sit on a Google Hangout, and that's really nice. It's super cute. But yeah,
in the Discord I added like a virtual office voice channel.
I did wonder what that was.
Like, that would be something similar, because I've seen that in a couple other Discord. I was going to explain it, but then I got distracted and didn't. But like my idea, because I'm in a couple other Discord channels that have that, and it was just it's not called virtual office, but it's something similar. But like, people can just, if they're online, hop in and just like chat with people. I figured that would be handy.
I had that idea, but I wanted to take it a step further, where you create individual channels, and each channel would represent your desk. So when you're in that channel, you're sitting at your desk, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go see what Jake's up to. So I'm going to go over to your desk. And then, or like, because in the office, we'll have things happen like, oh, everyone's going to go around Rob's desk because we're all watching a really funny video. So you'd be like, oh, hey, everyone's like hanging out at Rob's desk in the Discord. What's going on? And you go there, and Rob's like screen sharing like a YouTube video or something.
That's so cute.
That's a good idea.
That's really good.
It's really cute. Yeah, I would say I'm not doing a great job keeping myself sane so far. But I'm spending a lot of time with my dog. My dog is she's on like a medication course right now, and basically at the end of it, she either gets put down or she doesn't. So it's good that I'm home with her. And I'm worried about my grandma because she lives by herself, and yeah. So I'm like not doing great.
I feel that. Like, my big thing is that it's weird moving countries, right? Because I've always had this kind of like pocket of money where it's like, if I needed to go home, this is my flight money. This is my emergency money. And now I'm at the stage where it's like, if my mum gets sick, or if my dad or my stepmom, it's like, I'm stuck here. And my mum today, God love her, she was like, oh, blah, 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 I'm going to go to Pilates and stuff. And I'm like, no, you're fucking not going to go to Pilates. What are you talking about? And then she like messages me back like an hour later, and she's like, oh, I just got an email. Pilates has been cancelled. I was like, yeah, no shit. And so it's weird. But like, you can't let yourself think like that. Everyone's in the same uncertain boat. And I'm lucky that like I have friends back home where I told them I was worried about this, and they immediately just went, look, if anything happens to your mum, we'll be there. So it's just distance. And I think the whole thing about this is that everyone is in the weird boat of like everything's just so uncertain. And so like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been listening to a lot of podcasts like that I normally listen to, but now, and like watching YouTubers and stuff that I usually watch, but now it has like a different meaning because I'm more grateful for that stuff, because it is just like taking my mind off things. And so that's been quite nice. Like, it's weird. The whole thing is weird.
Yeah. My grandpa had pneumonia a couple months ago. So we're like, are your lungs recovered? Please say yes. So it's just like, it's like I should have been more worried about him having pneumonia, but I wasn't at the time. It's just like weird perspective shit.
I think because it came on so quickly too.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry we got sad there.
It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. We haven't done that in a while. What was the episode that we did and we all just got like super sad at the end? It was like, well, okay, we'll see you next week.
Was it when we were talking about
being
games that made us cry or something?
Yeah.
And then
last week was sad because Peter.
Yeah. Today, this
Peter.
recording is Peter's last day.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
But anyway, I have been walking the dog to get outside, so that's good.
I like it when we're on meetings or on a call and you can just hear your dog going mad in the background.
Oh my god, the dogs. So like my dog, whose name is Lucy, which is so confusing. I named her.
I can tell the difference like 9 times out of 10. But sometimes you say something, I'm like,
I know. I told Jake, like, I texted him like a week ago where I was like, Lucy might need surgery, and he thought I was talking about you.
Because you were sick. You were sick too. You were out, and I was like, oh no. What's going on? And then like, I think you were on a podcast or something like that. Or you were on the podcast. Like 3 hours later, you were like, oh, my dog. And I was like, okay, that's still bad, but I was very concerned for Lucy for a second.
Oh, thanks, man.
Then there's like she's 12, and then there's a much younger one, a 3-year-old dog, and he it was a rescue, and he just loses his mind anytime like the garbage truck drives by, and she's just like,
Same.
oh, we're barking, it's barking time. So I've been apologizing for them for the last couple days.
It's so cute. I mean, today Portillo pooped on Greg while he was streaming, so
I saw that on Twitter. Oh my god.
Oh, I mean, dogs are great. Dogs are magical. Like, I didn't even realize that happened, and I was in the next bloody room. As long as he's not pooping in here, that's fine. He's been known
anyway,
to.
Should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, Jean-Luc, did you talk about what you've been doing?
Oh, geez, nothing. Just been. I feel like most of my time has been like setting up, like making sure I can like do shit from home, and then me and Georgia, my girlfriend, just trying to find things to do. We do not have a pet, unfortunately, and we've been like wanting to get one, and then we're like, we don't have the time to get one, or we don't have the money, and now we're sitting here being like, we should have got a pet. We need a furry creature with us to comfort and love. But yeah, I don't know. I started doing Ring Fit again.
Nice. Yeah,
because I was
got
like,
mine too.
Time to get that exercise going. Let's do it. I already don't exercise enough as it is, and now I'm definitely not going to be. So doing that more. Haven't gone outside since Thursday. I should probably take a walk or something.
Wait, since last Thursday?
I think so. Well, no. I went in, on...
Yeah, didn't you go in the office?
I did go into the office.
Yesterday or 2 days ago?
On Monday. So no, I did go to the office on Monday.
Okay.
I did do that.
Well, you're allowed to, I mean, San Francisco's in a weird lockdown. We're allowed to go for walks as long as it's with people that you live with.
Yeah.
And that you stay 6 feet away from other people.
It's a bad combo because we already are homebodies, so it feels like it's an excuse to just stay inside, and we're like, it's not great. Like, I definitely should probably walk outside more often. Otherwise, I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was episode 33 of GameSpot After Dark. Thank you so much for sticking with us for these next couple weeks. We're gonna keep going until they tell us to stop.
That's grim.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never know. But make sure to email us questions if you've got them at afterdarkpodcast@gamespot.com. John-Luke, where can people find you on Twitter for all your hot Doom takes and impressions?
You can find me at John-Luke Seipke.
And Lucy?
I'm at Lucy James Games, #release the butthole cut.
That'll be the title of this episode.
Thank you.
And Callie?
Inky Dojiko.
Do it. Do the song.
INKYDOJIKKO.
Say the line, Bart. Sorry.
That was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was
I
very
am
good.
weirdly, I mean, it says a lot about me that one of the only impressions I can do is Milhouse Van Houten.
The real hoe.
Oh, hell yeah. That might be my island name. Thank you.
Oh, I'm
gonna
so
be
jealous.
Oh, that's good.
Thrill Ho Island.
I'm actually, literally right after this, I'm doing Talking Simpsons. So.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Anyway,
that's
it for this week.
Yeah, but
Oh, no, you already did.
Oh, what do we have to do?
No, I was going to say you already... John, ignore me. It's the end of the day. I'm so sorry. I've derailed this.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time.
I promise I'll fix my mic.
Wash your hands.